Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the JAMODI podcast is powered by Biology. What's your BSA score? The Biology Skills Assessment is the only verified skills metric endorsed by the NAIA, NJCAA, and a growing number of NCAA coaches to discover and develop the best talent for your team. This 4-minute, 40-shot test can be taken free today on the Biology mobile app. Elevate your game. I love getting to listen to coaches talk about daily habits, what leads them to success. So what are some things that you do daily that just set your day up right?
I would say probably, the first thing is there's this app that we have. We go to Church of the Highlands here in Alabama, and they have an app where you can read the Bible in a year. And so it's probably 15 minutes every morning. They have it broken down. It's Old Testament, New Testament. It'll have one psalm and then like one proverb in there. And, so I'll do that. I'll take, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to read it. And then, I'll pray, and, I have a little journal where I write down the things I need to pray about. So that would be the first thing. I try and get that done. Definitely. We practice in the morning, so I try and get here, at least an hour beforehand and do that. And then, after we practice every day, me and 3 other guys on our staff will lift weights together, and then I'll try and find the time to where I can do right after. Typically, sometimes our guys will lift right after practice. So if they do that, I'll be in the weight room with them, and a lot of times I'll either get on the treadmill or the elliptical, be in there watching them, and then I'll also I have a Kindle right here, and so I'll sit there and I'll read a book while I'm doing that. And so I tried, I set a goal of reading a book a week. And,
wow,
probably to do that, you got to read probably an hour. So, if you knock out 30 to 45 minutes doing cardio, you kind of, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And then, at nighttime before I go to bed, I'm usually, amped up or wired. I'm a nighttime person. And so, I typically read for about 15, 20 minutes until I feel tired. And so, those would be probably the main things that I would say. My newest kind of bucket list deal is trying to learn Spanish.
Nice.
So, we have one kid from the Dominican Republic on our team. We actually have a commitment from a kid that's on the Mexican national team. So it's always been a goal of mine. I don't know if you know Caleb Canales. He was with the Dallas Mavericks. He's been coaching in the NBA for a while, but he was on staff at UT Arlington probably about the time when you were playing. And, so I always told him I wanted to learn Spanish. And so I'm getting to the point, I can't talk by any means and speak it, but I can start to understand, I think, if I hear somebody speaking Spanish. And so
what are you using for that?
So I have Babbel. And so what I've been doing is and their lessons are pretty easy. It may be a 5 to 10 minute lesson. So I'll do that like at nighttime before I go to bed, 5 to 10 minutes. And then they have a little podcast thing that's like maybe 10 minutes where they'll speak in Spanish and then they'll explain it in English and they kind of tell a story. And then the third part of that is like you can go on Netflix and you can watch like movies and you can turn it on Spanish and then you can have like captions in either English or Spanish. And so I may do, 10 to 15 minutes of that. So I'm probably spending 30 minutes a day on that, and we'll see. Hopefully if I'm consistent with it in a year, maybe I'll be there. The last thing, which I've slipped a little bit, I was doing it pretty consistently, up until our season started. I read Tom Brady's book and he has, the TB12 stuff. Well, he has this website that he uses, and it's let me see what the name. It's TB12 Brain HQ, and so it's like it stimulates, like it's almost like lifting weights for your brain. So there's all these different to increase your brain speed, to help, and you'll do these deals, and then they'll show where you are, like what percentile you are for your age. And so I was, and that takes probably 30 minutes. That's the drawback of that.
Oh,
so
that's long. Yeah.
It is long. Yeah. And so if you do that, like 3 times a week, you'll see improvements in it. And I will notice it. I'm starting to get old now. So like my recall is slowing down a little bit, like, pulling up a name of somebody, it's a little bit slower than it used to. And so I do notice when I do that on a consistent basis that stuff does, definitely help. And I think Brady was trying to say, like, that's why one of his advantages is why he's able to read defenses so quickly, is because, like, he trains his mind, just like he trains his body to throw the football.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to check that out. I was trying the Luminosity app for a long time, very, playing very those games. Yeah. What books are you into right now, since you're trying to read about one a week?
So I finished Eric Thomas's 2 of his, and they were. I'm behind. I'm actually behind a little bit because I don't know why, but I'm probably a few books behind for making 52. But Eric Thomas's books are like 100, 150 pages, and so finished one today. I didn't really know the guy's story, but man, he has an amazing story. Like he was homeless for 2 years, and took him 12 years to finish college, and now he's a PhD, and just like reading all the stuff that he went through. And I didn't know his faith was as strong as it was. And yeah, I mean, it definitely was a book that I was sitting there and I was locked into, and pretty much read cover to cover. But it's an easy read, and has an amazing story in it.
How many days a week you working out of season, and then in season, does that change at all?
No, I try at the minimum 5, but like if we're on the road or if we're recruiting, sometimes I might miss a day. I try and make time, but probably the majority of the year, I would say 6 days a week. In probably 5.5 lifts. I prefer to do 6, but I'm sure I miss one, every couple of weeks, and then, try and do some type of cardio at least 6 times a week.
Besides just personal health and you staying around here longer, do you feel like that's important for you as a coach? Maybe because the energy that it gives you, but also maybe the what am I trying to say? The example that you're setting for the guys.
Yeah, you didn't ask what were the things that set me up for failure, my daily habits. So
that question's not on the list.
If you did ask me that question, the answer would be I love ice cream, I love cookies, I love everything unhealthy. So, I probably eat slightly better than I did when I was a player, but not much better. And so, I have to fight it. I definitely want to stay in shape the best that I can, but at 47 years old, it's a lot harder. Your hamstrings and calves are tight. You're getting plantar fasciitis, and yeah, so it just kind of adds up. But I want to stay somewhat. So I'm, every year you put on a pound or 2, but I just want to delay it as much as possible.
I'm with you there. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.